let's start to work on our head rig. Again, our control rig is coming along very well. We have the head to work on and then the arms, and then from there, once we double check everything, we can get right into enveloping. To get started here, let's go ahead and bring back our character. Head over to our left side view. Kind of adjust the camera here. Bring back our bone tools and create our chain. So starting at the base of the neck, we'll draw out our first pivot. That would rotate from, and then the head bone right where the head would rotate from. And then we can draw out a nub at the top. Okay, great. So exiting the tool, heading over to our perspective. Before we start to add controls and things like that, let's go ahead and first understand exactly what we want to accomplish with this head rig. Now, at times you may find a separate head and neck control on certain control rigs, and that might work well, but I like to work with something a little bit more efficient. Now, of course, that all depends on the type of character you're working on, but I find for a normal bipedal character like this, making something a little bit more efficient is going to work for us excellently. What I mean by that is, if we were to have a control that not only rotates the neck and head by just that one control, we have done a great job at making this control efficient. So what we're going to do is basically connect the high IK solver to our neck, and then connect that to our head control so that as we move that head control around, that's going to control the orientation of the neck. But as we rotate the control, we can orient the head. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about with the efficiency. Getting the most amount of control we possibly can from just one object. To get started here, let's go ahead and rename these. We can color code them, turn on their fins, and continue with the rigging setup by getting that efficiency that we were just talking about. Starting with the neck, that's going to be bn underscore neck01. Can move to the head next. It's going to be bn underscore head01. Right at the top, that's be head end. Selecting the neck, we can hold down control, press page down to get to the entire chain. Head over back to our bone tools and choose a color scheme for this. Let's say we use a start color of red. And then for our end color, we can go with yellow, just to make this gradient look interesting. Okay, there we have it. From here, what we're going to go ahead and do is set up our high IK solver, and then we can work on doing the fins. So I'll just go ahead and create that, selecting the neck, attaching that to the head. We'll call this high IK underscore neck 01. So as we move this around, again, you get an idea of the functionality we're going to be able to get. With the control we're about to make, it's going to allow us to have full control over the head's rotation, not like what we're getting now. All right. If the setup was like this, of course, we'd have some counter keying to do, rotating the head back as we move the neck forward. All right, let's go ahead and turn on fins for these. So for the neck, head over to the modify panel, turn on the side fins, bring those in. Say about a value of 1 would work well. Can turn on the front fin, bring that in to about 1.2. And the back fin will bring that in as well. So like a value of 1.3 would work nice. Alright, from there we can go ahead and do the same for the head bone. Alright, so we'll turn on the side fins, bring those out. Bring up the start taper, bring down the end taper. Turn on the front fin. Have the the shape of this match the character's head a little bit better. Okay, I think that's fine. And we'll do the same for the back fin. Bring up the start taper and the end taper. We can bring that up as well, so it matches the odd shape of the character's head. Alright, great, so that's fine. Now as far as our controls for this, what we're basically going to do is set up a helper that's going to be oriented to the head, but aligned to the position of our IK goal. From there we can set up just a few constraints, an orientation and position constraint, and once that's done, when we set up the actual animation head control, it's just going to be a simple link. Alright, so by doing it this way, we can kind of speed up our workflow. I'll go to the create panel and let's head over to our helpers and create another point helper. I tell you, this entire rig is going to be made up of point helpers, but that's fine as long as it gives us what we want. Alright, from there I'm going to go ahead and choose align and align that to the head bone. Not only in position, but orientation as well. Choose OK, and there we have it. So now this helper is aligned to the position of the IK goal and oriented to the head. From here, we can go ahead and set up our constraints. Selecting our IK goal, we'll choose position constraint and constraint to the helper. Select the head, orientation constraint that to the helper as well, and here's what we end up with. As we move that helper, again, that's going to control the next rotation. As we rotate it, we now have control over the head's rotation. Very efficient. Now let's go ahead and discuss linking, and then we'll close out the lesson and make our primary head control in the next to finish this up. As far as linking goes, we want the neck and the IK goal linked to the chest. Now, we don't want to link directly to the chest. We don't want to link our bone that is directly to the chest. The reason why is we're not going to get the twisting we want. We're actually going to get this additive twisting. If I were to quickly show you that, selecting the neck bone, we can go ahead and link to the chest. Okay, you can see it kind of shift on us, and as we move this around, notice the extra twisting that we have. That's not good. So how can we bypass that? What we can do, I'll go ahead and undo that link. There we go. What we can do is actually set up another helper that's going to have this neck constraint to it, and then we could link that helper back to the chest. That way, with the neck not directly linked, we don't have that additive twisting. So let's go back to our create panel and we'll use another point helper. Love these things. From there, we'll go ahead and align that in position and orientation to the neck. Let's say we head over to the modify panel, decrease its size, let's say maybe to about 5. And we can also give this a different color. Here we can go with a yellow. Alright, from here, we can go ahead and take this and now link that to our chest bone. Now it's just a matter of setting up our constraints. So selecting the neck bone, we'll position constrain that to that helper and orient constrain it to the same. So now as we select this helper control that we've created, notice we don't get that additive twisting any longer. Alright, great. We need to go ahead and rename these, and then we can move on to the next lesson to finish our head rig. So this is going to be PT control underscore head 01. The next one here, since it's not necessarily a control, we can simply call this PT match underscore neck 01, since we matched it to the neck. Alright, so that finishes up this lesson. In the next lesson, we will finish our head rig.